Good morning, y'all. We're gonna get some coffee. I speed got dressed because I am dying to get out to my garden. I was just with my family, which we'll talk about more in a second, but this is honey from their neighbor's farm that they were given as a gift as a thank you for leaving their wildflowers up for so long during the season. And I put honey in my coffee every morning, and I don't measure it. My heart measures it. Oh, guys. Ay, ay, ay. Everyone's okay now, put it that way. And it wasn't Cam or the dogs, which, speaking of. Hey, Lana. Y'all, I think I will forever shake my boots out even when I live in a freaking suburban neighborhood. And it's not because I grew up in the country, it's because when I was growing up, our first house that I can remember was one of the first houses in a development in Arizona, and it was like in the middle of the desert. We like legit had scorpions. So, always shake out your boots. Wah! See, something just dropped on my foot. See? I didn't know what it was. And you gotta get the heel first to knock whatever's at the toe. You gotta go like this, and then you go and you knock it against the ground. And then you still hope that nothing's in there by the time you stick your foot in. Before I take you out to the garden, I wanna show you, so I've been gone for a week. We'll talk about it. I'm exhausted. But Cam has been harvesting the ripe tomatoes. So let's just look at those real quick before we go outside. So he's been crushing it. I don't know which varieties these all are. But I know that like my heirlooms, like this is a Cherokee purple, but he's been crushing it. And what he's been doing is when the tomatoes are fully red, he's been putting them in bags in the freezer for me to get back. Because now that I'm back, I can start canning, and I don't know when that's gonna happen, but it's not right now. Because right now we're gonna get ourselves a basket and we're gonna go harvest what's in the garden right now. I came out here last night when I got home, but I honestly think I was too exhausted to like, I don't know, I was not ready. But let's check on things. I know some of my determinate tomatoes are honestly starting to look pretty bad, but it's because they're starting to get to the end of their season. So let me show you how I pick my determinate tomatoes. I do pick them a bit early, but it's to prevent any kind of animal damage. So I know this tomato really doesn't look very ripe, but it's just starting to blush. And I want to prevent the bugs from getting, and the animals from getting these before I do. So I pick them pretty early, and they'll finish ripening on the counter, and it's not a big deal. Now my heirloom slicers that I eat fresh, like on a sandwich, those I will leave on the vine as long as I can, but we'll get to those in a minute. I am noticing a little bit of, the best word I know for it is mottling, like this, where there's like all these kind of little spots. This is from leaf-footed bugs and squash bugs sucking the juice out of your tomatoes. I'm not gonna lie, I saw a few of them before I left, and I probably should have done something about it, but I just like wasn't in the place to do that. But oh guys, so without being too mysterious about it, everybody's fine, but I was house sitting and dog sitting for my parents, and they care for my elderly grandparents, and we had a fall, there was a break, there was an ambulance, it was a lot, and I'm not complaining. I love my grandparents. They like helped raise me, and they're wonderful, wonderful people, and there's nothing better I can do to honor them than to take care of them in their older age. But It was a lot. I was extremely thankful when my parents got back yesterday and I was relieved of my duties. Oh, big spider. Woo! See, this is why you have to be careful when you've got this many tomato plants, is these big spiders. They're great because they'll catch all the little bugs, but they're not great because they're big and you have to be really aware that they're there. Other thing when plants get to this stage is you really have to get up under them and look for your harvest. I'm gonna let that one go another day. And the other thing with these plants is you really gotta get behind them and make sure that you're not missing anything behind them. Oh God. Also the borage has started to really fall, and so is the flowering tobacco. And I think it's time to just snip it down, if I'm being honest. Let me go get my shears. Alright, well the borage and the flowering tobacco are gorgeous, but it was time. I feel good about that. So the other thing that I know didn't get harvested while I was gone were peppers, because peppers can be sneaky to harvest, especially when they're like the same color as the plant. Oh wow, there's so many more tomatoes. Alright y'all, so this is just from today. Just from one bed. I think I'm gonna be here a little longer than I thought, but I mean, look, I have zero complaints. I am the happiest camper you could find, but yeah, well, this is what we call the thick of it, and we're here, so I'm gonna have to go bed by bed and just harvest everything, and I'm definitely gonna need more than this, so. I think this is the garden saying, welcome home. I'm sorry you had a hard time. Okay, y'all, so as far as heirlooms go, there's a couple that looks like we might be able to pick them, but I tend to leave my heirlooms on a little longer than I normally would because I want like as much of that juicy flavor as I can possibly get. Also, I know there's some people who say like don't pick your tomatoes until the afternoon because that's when they're most flavorful. I stand by my my statements of pick your tomatoes whenever you can pick your tomatoes. Grab this guy. This is a Chef's Choice Black, and so it's gonna turn a lot more purple. And of course, now that I'm pulling it off, it's a lot more green on the one side, so, but that's okay. I pulled a couple of Cherokee purples last night that are gonna be so ripe and juicy and delicious, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I just finished harvesting. We'll go over everything I grabbed, but I wanna show you guys just a couple things, okay? Okay, so number one, my marigolds are like gorgeous right now. This gray zucchini plant is crushing it. Knock on wood, the squash vine borer has not come back. Like, this plant is surviving and thriving, which is awesome news. Guys, look at that marigold run. Oh my goodness. So a few things. I think we're probably just days away from getting some like really massive tomatoes. And then there's one in particular that I like cannot wait for. And it's this sucker. I think this might actually be my biggest tomato I've ever grown. I gotta keep an eye on it though because it looks like it's starting to crack at the top because we've had some rain. So once this one starts blushing, I may snag it. And then my sunflowers waited for me to get home to open up. And then these are my cucumbers. It's about to start getting really hot, so I'm not sure that my cucumbers are gonna really produce. When it gets too hot, cucumbers get very bitter. However, my melon half is doing really, really well. And then actually, I grabbed my first bell peppers. We're definitely in the season where you almost have to be really careful about how much you water your big slicer tomatoes. Because if you don't time it right with the rain, you can really crack your tomatoes. I found a Brad's Atomic Grape tomato that had been totally cracked, and the reason I knew it was cracked before I even really found it was because there was a swarm of fruit flies. So let's go inside because it's not as humid in there and talk about everything we ended up with. Okay, y'all, so holy Moses. Okay, so I've got everything kind of split up, but let's start with the peppers. So I pulled some of my bell peppers. These were starting to turn orange, but I pulled them because they looked like they were ready. So we have bell peppers, and then, like I said, we have poblano peppers. So these are gonna be for salsa. We have Anaheims, we have Hatch, we have jalapenos, we have shishitos. We also have these peppers that apparently turn orange. These are called Aura yellow long peppers, and I've never grown them before, so I was kind of going by feel, like I was trying to feel them and see if they were ready. So we'll see, but those are the peppers we ended up with. So I'll make a preservation video for all of this too, because it's a lot, so just keep an eye out for that. And then in terms of heirloom tomatoes, I grabbed a couple of Cherokee purples last night. This is one of the Chef's Choice black. So it's probably gonna turn like a really, really dark purple color. We've got a handful of the yellow pear tomatoes. First, Brad's Atomic Grape. I have never grown these successfully. And this was actually my last seed. So I'm really excited to try this tomato because I've never actually tasted it before. And then we grabbed a couple of other varieties that I'm not remembering at this very moment. This is technically a sauce tomato, so we'll talk about it in a second. This is a Chef's Choice orange. So it had just started to turn orange, and the reason I grabbed it is because it had started to crack. So I wanted it to stop cracking and finish ripening. Now things that are not tomatoes are some eggplants. So we ended up with 3 eggplant. We'll probably have these for dinner. And that is all in terms of tomatoes. So we did not get all of this today. Cam has been picking tomatoes for a few days, but this is only like maybe 3 or 4 days of sauce tomatoes. So it's hard to see everything on the counter, but this is what we picked today. This is what was picked over the last few days. It's a lot. Also, what is this? This is a Hungarian Italian paste tomato that's like the size of my freaking fist. That's insane. So this is all really, really exciting. I'm super pumped. I get very overwhelmed at this time of year, but it's really, really fun. So watch out for more preservation videos coming. We're gonna be doing tomato sauce and salsa. We're gonna be doing recipes. Y'all, thank you so much for being here with me today. I know it was a super, super quick video. There are gonna be more videos coming soon. It's been a very busy season. So thanks so much for being here with me today. Happy gardening. We'll see you next time.